it's more about the persona that defines the person. Being a kind human being or being understanding to others. But we also must learn that failure is okay. We often give up and get frustrated when you fail and say this is the end of the world, but it's not. And I would like to bring my childhood memories and our childhood memories. We often forget to take our childhood memories.
Warm greeting of the day, everyone. Awaaz-e-Youth is an empowering initiative by the District Interact Council of District 3011, created to address the real life challenges faced by today's youngsters and explore practical ways to overcome them. From academic pressure to career dilemma, to mental health, relationships, and social expectations, this podcast is a safe space where youth can speak, share, and find solutions. Through open conversations, personal stories, and expert insights, Awaza Youth aims to inspire, guide, and unite young minds. Because when the youth raise their voice, change is inevitable. This side Anvi Paul serving as the ZIR, along with me ADIRs Ahana and Shia, and our DIR Yasha Chabra. Welcome to Awaaz-e Youth podcast of the District Interact Council of District 301. We have Mr. Vir Philip with us. Sir has been a youth mentor and trainer and also worked with many organizations like CanSupport, MUN, and Rotary. He was diagnosed with learning disabilities at the very young age. He struggled but never gave up. He completed his education from prestigious institutions. We are today really pleasure to have you here, sir, and we are really looking forward to hear you and your inspiring words.
Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to this wonderful podcast with all of you, the youth.
Thank thank you so much, sir, for joining. I would like to request Ahana to ask the first question.
Thank you, Anvi. Thank you, sir, for joining us today. So, my question is many of us feel like parents and relatives in India don't always understand what anxiety or depression really means. So, how can we explain our struggles without them sounding like we're just making excuses?
So that's a lovely question to start off with. So in India, mental health has always been a taboo, unfortunately. But now, slowly, the education and the system is changing. More and more parents are aware of mental health, but there's still a taboo happening. And part of mental health, one aspect of mental health is anxiety. What is anxiety exactly? See, anxiety exactly is this pressure that you get from school, from grades, from life, from jobs, and it slowly roll balls into overthinking and panic, and we worry, which creates a chemical reaction in our brains, and that makes us have panic attacks. It's okay to have panic attacks or anxiety attacks, but we must learn how to control them. Simple breathing exercises and just to be in alone space, quiet spaces. But yes, the taboo is still there with our parents sometimes, and people are still thinking this is just an excuse. So you must learn to be patient with your parents. Tell them, Mom and Dad, I'm facing this reason for this purpose, these tasks. And with patience, hopefully they'll understand.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really very insightful for our listeners. Ahana, may I request you to ask the second question?
So you just talked about anxiety and stress that we feel from the pressure of exams. So that's exactly the next question that I was about to ask you. It's related to that. Like when we're in school and we're in college, there's so much pressure, like exams, marks, and a lot of competition these days. So sometimes it feels like academic failure equals to life failure. So how do we deal with that kind of stress?
See, unfortunately, we must all go to school. And the education system has not changed for years, and it won't change for the next decade, I would say. See, my mother's in education, so I've seen what's happening. Marks and grades are part of the school education system. We have to learn to live with it. But that does not define a person. To me, it's more about the persona that defines a person. Being a kind human being or being understanding to others. But we also must learn that failure is okay. We often give up and get frustrated when you fail and say this is the end of the world, but it's not. And I would like to bring my childhood memories and our childhood memories. We often forget to take our childhood memories in adulthood. We start to worry. We start to say, oh, failures, there's nothing to do after failure. As kids, when we grow up, first you learn to crawl, then to walk, right? But you don't walk on the first go. You keep crawling, keep standing up, keep falling. But yet, in adulthood, we forget these lessons. Failure and learning from failure and our mistakes is only going to make us feel better and teach us our life lessons. So remember that it's okay to fail.
That was really a very meaningful takeaway for our listeners, sir. I would like to ask the next question. Like nowadays, we all are on social media, and on social media, everyone looks happy, successful, and perfect. But we all know that in deep reality, many teens face loneliness and anxious scrolling through it. So, how do we stop comparing ourselves with others online?
See, social media has two aspects to it. It can be harmful and it can be a great voice. Just a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, you saw how social media for the stray dogs, how we defined and stood up for the stray dogs in our colonies and made sure that they do not get into shelters. Correct? But it can be harmful also. Why do we compare ourselves to others in the first place? We have to understand that question first. What are we missing out in life that we have to compare ourselves to others? I personally believe, and I know I might get in trouble for this, those, not everybody, but those who put a lot of show off on social media and say, look, I got the latest iWatch or the latest Apple Watch or the latest shoes, unhappy with them themselves. They're missing out that there's the peace that's missing in their lives. We must not get head up to be judged and to say, oh my God, I want this. We should be grateful for what we have. Correct? And uh, second about social media is you should limit your social media time. When we limit our social media time, that anxiety goes away, that pressure goes away. And one suggestion I have for each, everyone on this podcast is listening is to limit your time on your phones. Maybe an hour before you wake up, don't see your phone. An hour before you sleep, don't see your phone. It'll really help you guys.
Thank you, sir. That would really stay with me for a very long time. I would like to request Shreya to ask the next question.
Sir, as you mentioned that mental health in India is seen as a taboo, and so as therapy too is seen as a taboo. So if someone of our age wants to go for a therapy, then how can they ask about it and start a conversation about it at their home?
So we go back to the first question. Where is the mental health a taboo? But now more and more people are getting educated about it. Correct? So therapy is also opening up in some cases. Yet some parents don't feel like that therapy is the answer. So, what I believe in, and I personally believe therapy can be the answer, but unfortunately in India, what's happening with therapy, a lot of psychologists put the answer with medicine. And I've seen it firsthand myself. With ADHD, give medicine, I'm someone who had a learning difference and a learning disability. So I've seen it with my friends. So therapy can be an answer, depends on the person. But there's another option too, called being a life coach, which I am. What is a life coach? A life coach is someone with has a safe space for you, where we discuss the issues at hand and try to work on these issues. And I've seen many students who've come to me and we've solved their issues. But yes, so it depends where you want to go and how you want to help. Again, the answer is patience. Explain to your parents what's the reason you want to go for therapy or life coach and say, look, I'm facing pressure in school. No one's understanding me. So please help me.
You have really shed light on an important aspect, sir. I would like to ask that sometimes even we don't know that what we are feeling or what we are going through. So, like, is like we don't know it is actually normal stress or anxiety or depression. So, what signs should we look out for in ourselves or in our friends?
So that two words. So one is stress, correct? And one is anxiety, depression. So what is stress? Stress is when you get too many things are happening in one place. Too many wrong things are happening in one place. I'll give you an example. About 2 weeks ago, I felt stress. My laptop went for a six, it crashed. My car's battery died, and I had no idea what to do. And suddenly people are saying, this is done, this is done, this is done. And payment, you have to pay for this, pay for this. So stress happens. What is depression? Depression is when you want to be alone, when you just want to give up on life and not have any interest in anything. So if you see that in your friends, on yourself, you'll understand the difference between the two.
You have provided a very valuable perspective on the point, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to invite ADIR Yashraj to ask the next question.
So my question will be: sometimes when my friends in the teenage only they feel sad or have suicidal thoughts about maybe it related to their academics, maybe it related to their relationships with their parents or any other thing. How, as the teenagers, we can help them in their difficult times? How can we support them? What are the key points that we can discuss with them so they feel open about? So they feel open about to discuss this problem with us.
Unfortunately, in India, suicidal cases are rising day by day. Unfortunately, we see in the news every day suicidal cases. Somebody's, being suicidal for whatever reason it is. They just want to give up on life. So if your friends are facing that, there are two ways to deal with it. One, if he's a close friend or someone you know, take them aside, speak to them quietly and say, what is happening? How can I help you? Why are you having these thoughts? I'm there for you. Make a phone call to our friends and say, good morning, I love you. Or good evening, I love you. How's your day? How have you been? It's very important to do that. That should help them. But if they're still thinking about ending their lives, which we don't want them to do, then try to seek adult's help. Go to the teacher or principal. It's very important. Try to help them. It's important to say love you and send messages to your friends whenever you can, just to make sure they're okay. I know a friend who's not well, who's not doing well mentally. I said, are you okay? But it's up to them to decide how they want to tell you and what they want to do. But be their friend, be their buddy. But if they still think of it, then seek adult's help.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to invite Ahana for the next question.
Yes. So a lot of us keep things bottled up because we're scared that people will judge us. So you previously talked about taking small steps. So as a teenager, what's the first small step we can take if we want to talk about our feelings but don't know how to?
So again, the first step, it's okay to have these feelings. Correct? We must understand it's okay. And I'd like to share a story here about myself as well. I have a learning difference and a learning disability. And that basically means that I learn differently. We all learn differently. I went to one of the most prestigious schools here in New Delhi because my mother was an educator. However, from going from the fifth standard to middle school, sixth grade, my parents were told that I won't succeed in life. I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I'm retarded. My parents never gave up and found a school in the US, and I was very lucky to go there, that told me that everybody learns differently. So I seek help. So here again, you must seek help. So when we're talking about therapy or a life coach, if you feel like you need it, you can reach out to any life coach or therapist. And you can reach out to me as well if you need help on this podcast. Uh, I'll have my Instagram links and I'm sure they'll share with you. Please seek help. It is okay. We should not be embarrassed of seeking help. Only then can you start addressing these, I won't say issues, but these areas will help you eventually.
That is a very important perspective, especially for those feel like they are going through it alone. Sir, I would also like to ask that in Indian households, parents often say that we didn't have this all stress in our time, so why are you overthinking? So, how do we respond to this mindset respectfully, but still address our mental health issues or stand up for them?
See, our parents were very fortunate to have their life as they're growing up. It wasn't easy for them, but the life and the world has changed. And unfortunately, we live in this rat race. And I know I've said this many times in other podcasts. We live in a rat race. There's pressure on you, the youth, in schools. There's pressure on jobs to make sure they get the deadlines in work, in our jobs. You must get this many clients, or you're fired, or you're on the chopping block. Correct? So again, we must tell our parents, look, yes, mom and dad, you didn't have an easy life. However, now the world has changed. So I do need this help. Please understand, yes, overthinking can be part of it, but it's not only overthinking. You want me to get the best, marks in school, but grades do not define us. We must learn to move off of the grades. It's okay to have grades. Good grades is good, important. But again, patience is the answer.
Mm, Thank you so much, sir. This point really offered a very fresh dimension to our conversation. Ahana, can you please ask the next question also?
Sure. So do things like meditation, yoga, or spirituality actually help with anxiety and depression, or are they just temporary fixes? Because a lot of us here, our mentors or our parents, a lot of us, they recommend us for these avenues to help us, get through anxiety or our tough times. So are they, just temporary fixes, or do they actually help us?
So see, one size does not fit all. Correct? It's like saying when we have an issue in the doctor's office and we go for a back pain and they give us medicine for a headache. Correct? Or eyeglasses. Every eyes have different sights and different visions, different numbers. Correct? So it depends what works for each of you. Try meditation. Try yoga. Try listening to music. For me personally, one of my strengths is I love listening to music. It makes me focus and work. It can work. I won't say it's a temporary fix, but again, one size does not fit all. Try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, move on to something else. Going for walks, they say nature, walking in greenery is amazing. So again, one size does not fit all, but there's no harm in trying to see which area helps you and helps you in these areas.
That was a very thoughtful observation, and it was really very good for our listeners. I would like to ask Shreya to ask the next question.
So my question to you is that if you have to give a piece of advice to every Indian teen who is right now listening to this podcast, then what would be that advice for them that will help them in their life and will help them to deal with the mental health issues out there?
So my piece of advice and will be it is okay. Remember that. It is okay to face these issues and these challenges. Mental health is not the end of the world. Anxiety, having panic attacks is not end of the world. Understanding it is okay. That's the first piece of advice I want to give you. Once you understand and not let others judge you, only then can you go out there and feel and have that ability to learn within yourself where you can embrace others. And when you can have that ability and embrace yourself, you can go and help others achieve their dreams and help them survive. So there's a future for all of us, for future for you to create and make positive impacts in this world.
Thank you so much, sir. That was our last question. Your efforts not only just raise awareness, but also give a hope, encouragement, and practical guidance to those who are struggling in silence. Thank you for using this platform to empower youth and reduce stigma and just remind us all that mental health matters. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you guys for having me, and I look forward to the positive impact with the youth.